For word. Don't worry, the dog is in on it too. This ignited a full-on panic attack. I sprung up, leaving my knife and blanket, and sat next to my friend E, who was completely sober and an angel. I told her that I was tripping out. She didn't need my confirmation though, she could clearly tell. She gave me a rock, telling me as if I were a child to rub the rock to make me feel better to distract me. I rubbed that rock to dust. There was a giant gash on my thumb the next day. This is when things went from bad to worse for me. Emma pulled out a laser pointer, bright green, and was shining across the fair. I have to admit, it was pretty cool in my tripped out state. This was overshadowed when Em announced that he had another laser, pulling out a bright light and shining in my eyes. For some unknown reason, this triggered a memory, real or not, that's to be debated. A memory of me listening to a podcast in which Joe Rogan and someone else were discussing laser technology the CIA had created, and where you shine it into the victim's eyes, causing them to die within 12 hours. Like I said, real or not sure to this day. I haven't resurfaced the episode, so who knows. However, this did not stop me from absolutely shitting my pants. You have to understand, this wasn't a question, it was more of a prophecy. I was going to die, no doubts in my mind. This was it. Not knowing what to do, I freaked out. The idea of dying was not on my agenda for the weekend. In my state, everything I looked at was sucking me in as mentioned previously. This time, it became more intense. Death was everywhere I looked, sucking me in. Em would stroke the fire, causing embers to go into the sky. The little tiny points were his method of killing me in my head. I couldn't escape it. This man was on a mission to kill me. I freaked out screaming to everyone that I was going to die. Em has bad vibes, as I elegantly put it, and I need to go to a hospital. No one of course believes me, and why would they? Though to me, it sounded like they knew I was going to die, and they knew that there is nothing that they can do, if that makes sense. They all knew that it was over for me, and they didn't know how to tell me. Enter C. C was a hardcore hippie, such a good guy in my experience with him prior to this. He picked me up and told me, let's go for a walk. C began trying to comfort me by saying things such as, just accept it, embrace it, it'll be all over soon, no joke. These were not the things I wanted to hear. He also mentioned I had gypsy tears, not sure what that means, but you could guess it did not sound good in my head. If anyone knows what he's talking about, leave a comment. I started to yell at him, getting in his face, yelling at him. He is much bigger than me and could take me down easily, but he was a trooper through my schizophrenic episode. We ended up at a drum circle where I embarrassed him by stating, I see a red dot, they're here to kill me, and the endless questioning of gypsy tears. This being heard by multiple people who were being lunged at by a scrawny white kid halfway on the planet. It prompted C, who had enough of the public humiliation, to take me off to a small field where he sat me down, in which we meditated, calming me down to a point of questioning if I was actually really going to die. Not fully convinced, but coming down from my state of existential dread, we made our way back to camp, where only A was awake. C left to go do peyote or something. A and I stayed up for the rest of the night, talking and walking around the fair, meeting cool people, and having a genuinely good time. The next day, I woke up, alive, but with the worst psychological hangover, questioning everything and thinking deeply. Em made us breakfast, where I'm 90% convinced I ate human meat. The meat was beat down to be thin as paper and tasted like nothing I've ever had. Later that day, I overheard Em say to E, who was a gorgeous girl, you have such luscious skin. All that from Em definitely had me looking over my shoulder all day. However, I eventually realized the ridiculousness of my paranoia. In all honesty, looking back, he was just a sad old hippie wanting some friends, and me, being who I am, an eighth of shrooms down, interpreted him as life-threatening. It would come to my attention that he was harmless by the fact that he took a bunch of acid and got to a point where me and C had to carry him to his truck because he was crying to his mom that he didn't want to go to school. He even gave me a rock with dots all over it, stating it was an apology. I accepted the apology by throwing it off a cliff, and good wishes later on our way home. No way I was keeping that. I have not been to Barter Fair since, and I tried shrooms 3 months later and had a similar experience. I am not writing off psychedelics as bad as my experiences have been. They have completely changed who I am for the better. Almost 4 years later, I could say that I laugh more writing this story than having anxiety. I still think about it a lot, especially those points where the universe was breaking and I was forced to question if any of this was real. P.S. I don't think we live in a simulation. I believe in the broad umbrella of spirituality. So I took 775 milligrams of DPH last night around 9:44 p.m. to be exact. And as I was coming up around 10:30, I knew this was gonna be the one. It was all chill and shit, just the normal glitchy distorted visuals and feeling of heaviness until about 11 p.m. I saw the first shadow man